recommend StoryChief to other companies and agencies?
Yes, secretly no, because I don't want everybody to know my secret weapon as far as the tool that I use. But for other agencies that they're looking for something to use, you didn't hear from me. Don't come after my clients and say that you have StoryChief. But the reality is that it is highly recommended. A CEO or someone that has a team, all the team members can be in there. Everybody can write for the company. That's huge. If you're an agency and the ability to kind of push out and manage multiple entities from one central place and have your employees understand how to use one tool very effectively, highly recommended. It's, again, like I said, it's the least dusty of my tools that I use. Is being used daily in my business. I haven't seen a tool like StoryChief, to be honest with you. I haven't, and I'm a tool junkie. I like to sign up for things and they kind of start collecting dust because I don't use them, and then I have to tag them in my invoicing software to say, cancel this because I thought it was cool and it's not cool anymore. But StoryChief has been there, and it's a very powerful tool. Very powerful tool.
So hello and welcome. I'm Lily and I work as Customer Success Manager at StoryChief.
Hi Lily, yes, thank you for having me. My name is Gianni Galerta, founder of Naka. We're a blockchain marketing consultancy in Miami, Florida. And for many years, we've been helping entrepreneurs, businesses with their content needs by creating social media posts, blog posts, and just general strategic consulting in marketing.
How important is content for your company?
Quite important. I think it's a way for businesses to keep top of mind for their customers and their audiences. And I think if a business is not doing that, sometimes they'll come to a website and see that there's not a new blog post or there's not a social post or something. They may think that they're not in business anymore. If you can craft a good content strategy for customers, then it could become something very valuable to draw new audiences, to reinforce the existing audiences that they have, their clients and things like that. So it's quite an important need for businesses today.
Okay, that's really interesting to hear. And as an agency, you have to manage multiple brands and customers. How has StoryChief helped you manage that?
I mean, it's probably the best tool that I use overall. There's a couple tools that a marketing person uses all the time, but StoryChief is my master account for social publishing and for just publishing in general. It's become a game changer for me. Gives us the ability to kind of like have a distribution mechanism that encompasses it all, right? And it's very, very powerful to have that. I think at the beginning we were kind of doing all the work, and here's a blog post we're going to write for you, and send them a Word doc, and they would make edits and things like that. And we trained them to do that. We trained the client to do that. But once we got working with StoryChief, we had to reinforce a bit that here's where you go to make your revisions. Here's where you go to give us your comments. And once that got going, the client sees it as a value because we send it for approval. No, we don't like this. We want to comment on this. And it's all there, and the history is there. And once we know it's been approved, it moves to the next stage much more fluidly than a bunch of documents that are floating around. You don't know which is the last one. StoryChief enables that very, very well. It's that by itself. I mean, you may think to do you may do writing on some other things that kind of put it in there, but once it's there, you can edit, you can make things look nice, and your clients can get involved with that process. And I think it's very, very a very good system and a tool. I mean, just the fact that once you connect all the different channels to the system, it makes it much more convenient because, especially for social posts, once you create a blog post or you want to do a social post, you have your Facebook, you have your LinkedIn, you have Twitter, and Twitter's kind of grouped all into one. But you can separate them and customize the message. If it came from the individual or if it came from the company, you can quickly kind of like edit that, schedule it. I would say also the other important thing is the fact that you have the integration with Instagram, right? you can post directly to Instagram. That's a huge game changer, because if not, you would have to bring out your phone or, use Facebook content creator. But that, the ability to kind of push that out across all different channels is super, super amazing. And also LinkedIn is the fact that you can post for a company as well as for individuals within that company. That was another step in our process that we did. Just wanted to add that for anybody listening. We got our clients in as users to StoryChief and we made them admins, but then they can add their own connection, their own LinkedIn connection. So I don't even need to do that. They could just go in, they're in LinkedIn, they do connect, now they're connected, and their account now is able to publish out there. So it's time saving is huge. It's a huge thing that StoryChief gives back.
And how would you say StoryChief compares to other tools?
More like here's where you can author your social media, your blog posts, and your content, and it's a tool to push out and distribute to all these different channels. And then you use other tools to kind of do other things on those other platforms.
If I may ask, what was your first impression when you started to use StoryChief?
The first impression was the fact that I got to interact with your team, to be honest with you. Many of these other tools, you don't get to talk with someone and, I had suggestions, or I had, I wanted to use it as an agency. And I don't know if I was one of the early ones, but once you guys started rolling out the ability for me as an agency to be able to see all the different clients and kind of toggle through them, it was great. And it seems that there's always a new feature, there's always something kind of coming out. There's a lot of, the fact that you reached out to me to have this call, what other projects or what other, software does that, right? You not only is this a testimonial, but you also, I think you guys are generally concerned about your clients and the agencies that use your software to make it a great product. And I've got that experience. It was always the same people, and I felt like, it was a quick response and helpful, which I haven't felt that with other software. It's almost like going into a boutique and somebody kind of asked me for help, and now it's the same person that I'm dealing with. So, yeah.
Just another question. Would you say as well that your customers seem much happier that you can provide them with insights and statistics on their data and their content?
The statistics do help, because more on an agency side, when someone says, we're doing this, but what results are we getting? Pull up those stats and say, well, look, these are the amount of people that are watching it. These are the amount of people that are clicking on it. And if you want to get access to it, you have access to it. Here's your little dashboard, and it's across all your channels, right? And so there's really no statistical tool easily, without having to build something from scratch, that kind of takes all that into account. And so I think it's very, very valuable. But we use it kind of for any agency that's using it. It's kind of proof that you're doing something when you can have those stats, right? It's really, really a useful thing to have.